Hello, Durud and Shalom. We be live. Do you guys have my audio? I think we have. Hola, hola. Sorry, I forget the
Hola,
hola.
how you doing?
Good, good. Okay, Monkey. Is this the same old, same old? We're not doing anything. There's no, like, we were supposed to get a deal by now or escalation, but we don't have either. What's your read on what's happening? Give me a quick understanding of where you think we're at, and then after that, we'll just see Jesse Waters. And guys in the chat, I'm going to pay attention to you guys and see what you guys are saying as well. We'll keep highlighting your comments as well, to and if we see anything interesting, we'll respond to it as well. But go on, Mike. What is your take on what the hell we're doing right now?
I'd like to know if Congress is in recess.
Is Congress in recess right now? I could double check. Okay, so yeah,
That'd be my
look
number
that up.
one question.
Why is that? Hold on. So, is Congress in recess, and how would that affect the war between the Islamic Republic and United States? So we'll check that. But why do you think that's the most important thing to talk to consider right now?
Look, what I'm hearing here is that it is in recess, so there's no limiter. Like, I don't know. Like, there's no good reason for them to stop operations. And I don't see a good reason for any of this to be stopped.
Congress.
I've
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I will read to
I've
you this.
steel manned a couple of points. Like I could repeat them, but you pretty much know like what could be, but we're past
Yeah,
that point.
we're past that point. Congress into its official August recess between August 7th, 2026 and August 10th, 2026. Lawmakers are not scheduled to return for full legislative business until September 14th. Holy crap. The recess freezes congressional debates regarding military authorizations and war powers oversight. Executive and military command maintain uninterrupted control over operations involving the Islamic Republic. Maritime defense and security operations in the Persian Gulf continue under existing executive authority. So, wouldn't that mean that they could do more? Does this mean that they could do more or less because of this recess?
Well, you could do more. Like
Because it's not.
there's two big problems. Number one, you have recess, but you didn't do anything with the recess, and you allowed recess without passing the Save Act. Personally, I think there's a couple of things that could have been taken out of the Save Act to make it more palatable, because they started putting like men and women sport. Well, that's not about voting. Why'd you put that in there? They started putting a lot of stuff in the Save Act that has nothing to do with voting, and that might have blocked it. And I don't know why they did that. I don't know why they kept selling it like that. I would have just focused it on voting, because you can't change it. Now they didn't pass the Save Act, so they can steal the elections. That's a problem. The biggest limiter to the elections wasn't the DSA or the Thomas Massey making a new party with Tucker Carlson. The biggest limiter was the Save Act, and they didn't pass it. And when they come in September, it's too late to pass a voting legislation with only 2 months warning. So that's the biggest problem with the war right now, is that that's the big problem we have right now.
Okay. And what's your prediction before I play this?
I predict that every blue state is going to steal the election because they don't have to show ID to vote. And then they're going to start blocking the War Powers Act. Okay. And JD Vance is going to say that the flip isn't because they stole the election. Some of it was also because the people that were disaffected and had flipped to purple or red, like the purple states that turned to red, or the red states or the blue states that turned purple, that they regressed because Trump was too tough on Iran, or he got involved in that other war. This is exactly the scenario I said was going to play out. I even laid out an article I can pull it out. I stated out like how it's statistically impossible that these people get randomly put in exactly the districts where Trump had gains. That's where they sent every immigrant, and that's where they took away the need to use ID to vote. They
So
basically
let me
gave
read
away the
this.
game.
So let me read this and tell me if you agree or disagree with this. The August recess helps President Trump by removing immediate legislative hurdles to military action against Islamic republics. Republic. Lawmakers are out of Washington until September 14th, preventing immediate war powers vote against executive decisions. Operations across the Persian Gulf remain under direct presidential authority without requiring deal time legislative consent. The main drawback is that emergency funding requests cannot be voted on until Congress returns in September. The absence of Congress allows the executive branch total control over diplomatic and military pressure on the Iranian regime. You agree with that?
I agree with that, but that's only one of the two things I said. Like the other thing I
Right.
said was the problem with not passing the SAVE Act if they lose the midterms because they didn't secure the people that couldn't, that because they didn't secure ID for voting. That means that
Right.
after the midterms, the war is basically if they intend to hamper down,
Right.
that's
This
a
is
big
why
problem because you're gonna have that problem
this
not for 2 months, for 2 years.
this is why you were insisting that President Trump needs to do something big against the Islamic Republic before the midterms. This is
Yes,
why you were pushing for that. And is it too
yes.
late now?
It may not be too late now. They could reverse, like after the midterms they could reverse so many things. They could like the midterms were crucial, and I think without passing the SAVE Act they lose the midterms, and if they lose the midterms we lose elections forever. Not just for Iran, not just for 2 years. Like you'll have a long series of never-ending Obamas. Just, you know, it's the end of democracy because anyone that jumps over the border can vote.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so let's okay. Well, let's see what Jesse Waters is saying. Oh, before that, let me actually we got to Jay. Thank you so much, Jay Dealing Fire. Thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate you. Thank you. And Sherry just gave us a super chat saying August break is to sell DC to voters instead of hearing us to go back and represent voters to DC. I don't understand that. Can you translate this?
They go home to
maybe?
campaign. They basically go campaign, but it doesn't matter how hard you campaign if you let illegal people vote without ID.
Yes, instead of hearing us to go back and represent voters. Oh, okay. So Sherry thinks that instead of coming to us to try to sell to us, they need to just be at DC and do their job. That's what Sherry is saying. I think. Did I get that right? I think I got that right. Kinda. Yes. All right.
Let me
Thank
read
you,
it
Sherry.
again.
I understand.
Tell DC to voters. So they have to tell the voters, hey, I'm going to go to DC and fix shit. Instead of hearing
exactly.
us go back to and represent. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Voters to
Thank you,
DC.
Sherry.
When they tell us, hey, I'm going to be you in DC, and they tell DC, hey, I am my constituents. That's basically the gist of it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Monkey, for that. So yeah. Oh wait, it's back. August break is to sell DC to voters instead of hearing us to go back and represent voters to DC. Oh, okay. So okay, no, I got it now. So instead of coming to you to hear you, so that they know what they're supposed to do in DC, they're just coming and talking to you instead of listening to you. Instead of they should be listening to you regarding what you want to do, what you want them to do back in DC, but instead of doing that, they're just coming and sell. That's what they're doing. Okay, now I
No.
get it.
The sell is not tell me now and I'll do it then, because there's going to be problems throughout the 2 years. The sell is I will actually do your bidding in DC throughout the 2 years. You can give all your complaints at any time to my office, and while I'm in DC, I'm going to hear your complaints throughout the whole year, but I'm going to really, really, really do what you want. That's the sell. I'm going to be you in DC, right? I'm going to be you in DC. I'm here to sell you on the proposition that I'm going to be you in DC. Then they go to DC and tell DC, hey, I am my people, and you got to do, I vote this way because I'm voting the way my people have told me by calling on this recent thing or whatever. Like they're supposed to, like, throughout the whole 2 years, they're supposed to convey the needs and the wants of the people for 2 years.
Got it. All right, let's see what Jesse Waters has for us for the update.
Another Fox News alert. Our troops around the globe are staying sharp. Soldiers are training in the jungles of Bangladesh in the Tiger Lightning exercise. But the action's in the desert, where Iran is getting either a deal or a missile shower. Mideast negotiators tell Axios the deal could be approved soon. But inside the country, it's a knife fight. Warring factions. It's the diplomats against the military. And the gay Ayatollah doesn't have the juice to bring them together like his daddy did. No one's seen him in months. The diplomats say the economy's collapsed and they have to stop the bleeding immediately. And they're right. State media is reporting their oil companies' bank accounts were frozen over massive debt.
On the economic side, we have them by the throat, and they've got 150, 180% food inflation, not able to pay the troops. So I think shortly, maybe even today, tomorrow, we are going to see an agreement, 30, 60-day ceasefire, and Strait will be open. Energy prices should come down.
Iran needs a deal, but the guys with the guns think they're being sold out. Their nuke program's been buried. All they have left is the Strait. They have to save face. Prestige is everything in the Muslim world. So they're creating conditions to extend the war to make the Iranian population, who live in a police state, think they've fought us to a stalemate. So they're holding the Strait hostage, but they have a gun to their own head, too. You get it? The blockade has them bankrupt. They can't find an off-ramp. So what's happening now is this. The RGC controls the media, so when the diplomats try to cut a deal, they get hammered on the airwaves. Now, what they don't understand is it's already too late to control the Strait.
The Strait is never going back to the way it was because the Iranians have used or tried to use it as a choke point. What we are going to see over the next 2 years, the Strait's going to become irrelevant.
Pipelines are the future. Oil giants are already fast-tracking them away from Hormuz. The Gulf's about to enter retirement, and therefore, so is the enemy.
So, they're not wrong regarding the Strait of Hormuz over the next 2 years. It's going to become less and less relevant, but they're talking over the next 2 years. So, which is not, that's going to take a long time. Like, the way they're talking about it is as if we are going to basically be able to solve all of this eventually when we're not disreliant on the Persian Gulf, or at least not disreliant on the Strait of Hormuz. This is like a 2-3 year plan rather than, defeating the Islamic Republic in the next few months.
The problem with all this is what I have already said. You could probably predict what I'm going to say about waiting a month, waiting a year.
Wuhan.
1,000 Wuhans.
Yeah. Yes. So, guys, for people who might be new here, every time the monkey says Wuhan, he's talking about the fact that the Islamic Republic will, even if you take the Strait of Hormuz away from them, because you have alternative ways now to make up the loss in supplying oil in the oil markets, they're going to find other deterrence capabilities. I mean, they have already worked on it, including, more ballistic missiles, atomic bomb, proxies, terrorist proxies. But what the monkey wants to highlight the most is biological weapons, which all of this would add up to the Islamic Republic increasing its deterrence capability to the point where it's too late if you just let them get away with this, right?
Yes, like on a small scale, you don't need to put it on a warhead. You could put it on people and send them off to the border of your neighboring country that you don't like.
Yeah, exactly.
You could infect them and tell them, hey, you're free. But if you come back here, I'm going to shoot you. So you better keep on walking.
You could have sleeper cells that carry things in their, I don't know, carry
I
things
think
with them.
there
And-
is a more porous border between Iran and its neighbors that it doesn't like. If they are very willing to put themselves at risk, or you have one of those guys in your lab that's like Siddiqui, the MIT Al Qaeda lady. If you have even one of those that doesn't even care what the leadership thinks, I have the power of the virus. I'm going to release it. I'm going to give it to a cell. I don't care what I don't care what Pajishkian says. I'm going to listen to the extremist. What we want is to bring the Mahdi, and they release it because they want to bring the Mahdi. What are you going to do? You can't let these
Yep.
people survive.
Yeah. So where do you think the ball was dropped in all of this then?
The first ball was dropped when they put a lot of women's rights things in the Save Act, transition stuff, puberty blockers. You get rid of illegal voting. You could check all that later. The second ball was dropped by JD Vance, having JD Vance make this deal, allowing JD Vance anywhere near this was a problem. Sending businessmen instead of sending military people, because people that don't care about the future, or people that are only seeking to be able to use mob tactics on their neighbor, don't really care about your business tactics. You can't tempt them away from wanting control, and these people want to remain in control. They don't want money. They have money. Like a lot of these people, the most of the people that have true power in Iran can probably siphon off $1 million or $1 billion and fuck off to any country they want. If they just want to live, free. They want control. Like at the highest levels of power, they don't want to leave. They don't want to go somewhere else. They don't want to get a facial surgery to change their appearance and burn off their fingertips and fuck off to China or to France or wherever, somewhere where they're not going to be found. There's probably a lot of places like that. That's not what they want. They want power. They're not leaving. Like, you know this better than me. Like, am I wrong about anything I'm saying?
No, you're right. I'm just trying to figure out how. Speaking of JD Vance, let's see what he has to say to figure out how we got here. Right?
What would an acceptable status quo be for the strait?
Well, our expectation is you're going to see the same amount of oil and gas come out of the Gulf that you saw before the conflict started. That is what the Iranians have told us that they are going to do. That's what the entire Gulf coalition wants to do as well. But, we don't trust, we verify. We actually look not at people's words, but at people's deeds.
What would an acceptable status quo be?
Oh, that was it? That was it? Okay, let me see. Our expectation is that you're going to see the same amount of oil and gas come out of the Gulf. Do you think that this something else is going behind the scene, or is this what they care about the most? Because that seems like if that's actually what they care about the most, they're avoiding, your concern and my concern that the Islamic Republic is going to lose. If you get your oil, the Islamic Republic is going to keep, moving towards, building biological weapons, nuclear weapons, 30,000 ballistic missiles, and you guys are just obsessed over getting the oil out of the Persian Gulf. And longer term, this is going to be, short term, you might be able to get oil prices down, but longer term, this is going to be devastating to the whole world if you keep kicking the can down the road. But let me steelman them as well. The steelman might be, again, I know you're going to push back against this, but I'm just going to steelman it for the sake of steelmanning it. The steelman is going to be like, nothing matters right now more than the midterms, because if we don't bring oil prices down, then a blue wave is going to basically completely tie our hands. So anything you want us to do, it has to be the midterms take a priority, because we can't do them if the Democrats win. But I don't understand what the focus
is. They
ahead.
sabotaged the SAVE Act. That takes the midterms off the table. Doing it after the midterms and trying to say that you're going to gain some kind of ground in the midterms. The only way to gain ground in the midterms is if the DSA starts winning. That's the only way. And that sounds terrible, but right now, the only thing that's going to split the left is the left, and on the right, we don't have anything to fix the voting. Like if we're talking about the midterms, this is what's things that they stuck in the Save America Act that weren't in the Save Act. Women's and girls sports, that has nothing to do with voting. We could do that after the midterms. Gender transition procedures on minors, it's terrible, but make that a separate bill. Why do you have to put that on voting needs to have an ID? Puberty blockers, terrible. I wouldn't want that on children. What does that have to do with voting? This isn't like an 80-20 issue. Like you're sticking other things in that are gonna like basically make it so less people in really deep blue places can't vote for it, because people can vote for you need an ID, but in really blue places they might not go for puberty blocker stuff or gender transition or women and girls sports because it's really blue. But they will say, yeah, black people can get ID. Why can't that be a law? Because you're sticking in a whole bunch of social issues into what is basically a voting issue. Female genital mutilation. You're sticking that issue where you should just be talking about voting. So they stuck all this that was in the Save America Act that wasn't in the Save Act in its original form. This ruined that. I don't know whoever did that. You know what I have? I have deja vu. I have deja vu. This is exactly what happened the first time Trump was in office. He chose a bad vice president. He had bad people in the Congress, in the Senate, that were caucusing too much with the left, too unwilling to pass strong laws. And then after that, we got Biden. And I don't know if J.D. Pence is the next Biden, or he's just going to stab him in the back and lay back in the cut, like not even get involved. But what I'm feeling is like early onset Biden 2.0. That's my problem. Is very much deja vu. This is making the same stupid mistakes.
So President Trump says he has a way to save the midterms, though. So
I don't know. He didn't do it last time. Let's see what he says.
Okay, let's see what he says.
Do you, MAGA Inc., the super PAC that your allies control, has a lot of money and a lot of people?
Not my allies. I control it.
Okay, you and your allies.
$800 million.
Are you going to spend it?
It's funny. Nobody ever, of course, I'm going to do.
You're going to spend it in the midterms.
I could spend it on pretty much anything I want. I'm going to spend it I'm going to help Republicans.
This midterm.
And so when you say I don't care.
No, I didn't say that. I said some people say that.
Yeah, look, I mean, I could do a lot easier. I don't have to be away in Nevada yesterday. I didn't have to be in Los Angeles yesterday making speeches. I didn't have to be supporting all the people. I have I have a busy schedule. I said to somebody, wait a minute, you don't understand. I won. I'm not campaigning. Now, that's the other thing. I get a tremendous vote. I have records in many of the states, the most votes ever in Texas and Florida and many, many states, Alabama. You can go through them, many, many states. The most votes ever. The question is, and they're asking this question, and I've had some great polls recently, real polls, but they're great polls. If I don't run, will those people go out and vote? And that's the one thing I can't tell. I'm going to ask them to, but I'm just watching guys like you, and you're very talented people. The question is, will they vote? Because a lot of them are very angry at Republicans, to be honest with you.
Why is that?
I don't know. I mean, they're angry at Republicans, but they're not angry at me.
Thing. Why?
They're not angry at me, but they are angry at Republicans.
Everyone's always angry.
And there are some areas that are basically Democrat, but they're Trump, like Pennsylvania. I win Pennsylvania easily. I win other places easily. Look, I won Michigan easily. I did well with Michigan. I did well with almost everything, to be honest. I did well with everything.
Okay, so basically saying his PAC has $800 million to use, help Republicans win the midterms, saying I'm going to spend it, I'm going to help Republicans. I don't have to be away in Nevada yesterday. I don't have to be away in Nevada yesterday. I didn't have to be in Los Angeles yesterday making speeches. I didn't have to be supporting all the people. Imagine if Republicans worked as hard as for Trump. Okay, yeah. So I don't know. Does this give you any sense of comfort? No, right? Probably not.
No, because voting, if you cheat, it doesn't matter how much you spend on a campaign. The problem is cheating. The problem is what he said is one of the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You know why? Because it's not that people are angry. Yes, some people are angry. That's not the big problem. The big problem is that they stuck illegal voters everywhere that flipped. So saying, well, people are angry is just laying the fertilizer and seeding the ground that if all these illegal voters flip the places you won, oh, it must be because they're mad. It's not because they stuck a whole bunch of illegal voters in these blue places and let them vote without ID. You're already seeding the ground, like you're seeding the ground for them. Oh, he said it himself. People are angry. That's not the problem. Like, I can show you that it's statistically impossible for them to actually, like, I made a whole article about it. I shared it earlier. It's statistically impossible for them to accidentally change the laws exactly in the places where they stuck a bunch of illegal immigrants, which are also the exact places where Democrats were lost ground to Trump. Yeah, the problem isn't that we already know the Republican states are going to vote Republican. Trump won because he won over a whole bunch of Democrats. And everywhere, I'm the one that, like, okay, let me explain this to you. Trump didn't win because of white people. That's not who won the thing for Trump. Trump got overwhelmingly large flip from black people and from Latinos. So you know what the Democrats did? They stunk a whole bunch of illegal aliens in those places so they could disenfranchise us, so they could disenfranchise Latino and claim, oh, they must have changed their mind again. That's what happened. If you take away the places that always voted for Trump, right? If that always vote for the Republican, they don't matter. They're basically non-existent. If you take away all the places that always vote Democrat, and you take all the places that always vote Republican, and you only look at the places that flipped, that's where they're sticking the illegal immigrants, and they're doing it especially and specifically because those places are where an overwhelming amount of the flip came from Latinos and black people. Look at the places that they're sticking these people. It's disgusting.
So let me ask you a question. And I'm just asking just to clarify, right? The argument against what you're saying, okay, I'm just saying this so that you could respond to it. Don't get angry with me, guys, okay? Is that even without an ID, if people, when they show up, they have to sign a sworn affidavit under felony perjury laws, and basically falsifying identity or citizenship will trigger mandatory federal prison time and immediate deportation. Electronic poll books instantly flag double voters or incorrect voter registrations. Voters without proper ID are given provisional ballots that remain uncounted without post-election verification. Post-election audits cross-check signed rolls against state databases to catch and prosecute fraudsters. So that's what they're saying. Like, no, they even without
okay.
ID.
So a person that entered the country illegally crossed a bunch of borders, they wouldn't break the law by signing a paper. Oh my God, I have to. Oh, I'm so scared of signing an affidavit, like crossing over someone else's border, which is a much harder crime to do. But there's a waiver. There's a waiver. You can't sign. It's illegal. You wouldn't break the law, illegal immigrant, right? Oh, and who is going to check? Who will we check? Oh, right, these blue districts that flipped for Trump. And we're going to check, we're going to trust them to prosecute it. You know what the biggest problem we have? California doesn't prosecute voter fraud or even check. Washington State doesn't prosecute its voter fraud or even check. The problem that we have is not that the laws exist, it's that nobody enforces it. And this is widely proven. It's proven on camera. They've done a whole bunch of investigations. They've gone undercover. They've shown the people that are inventing voter rolls, putting in so that other people will sign and ask for the mail-in ballots. Like, this is widely documented on video by James O'Keefe, Nick Shirley. Like, the problem is that, oh my God, signing a paper, an illegal immigrant would never dare do that after they jumped over someone else's border.
Yes, criminals who cross borders illegally are willing to break voting laws despite existing penalties. Law enforcement does not trust self-reporting. They rely on DHS database cross-checks to catch bad actors. The DOJ authorized sharing statewide voter lists directly with HSI to identify illegal voters. ICE and state attorneys general actively prosecute and deport non-citizens caught casting ballots. Systematic post-election audits identify illegal voters after the fact and refer offenders for federal prosecutions. Again, I'm just checking what I'm not saying this is true. I'm just checking.
Oh, okay, Chad. Let me explain. Like, you guys probably convinced, but maybe somebody tunes into the show for the first time and they haven't heard the argument and counter argument. What Armin is doing is helping to spell out the counter argument and how to counter that.
Right. Yeah, I'm just giving you the other side so Monkey could respond to it, so you could see like what the best response to it is. I'm just being a devil's advocate. Thank you, Monkey, for protecting me for that.
And in case you hear what Armin said, like, so a friend of yours says, yeah, but it's, bam, you already got the answer.
Right. Do we have any hard evidence that like illegal voters have already caused different results?
Yes.
In the elections? Okay. All right. Well, I'll keep an eye on this, and thank you for bringing this to my attention to keep track of what the hell is happening. We got a super chat from Kelly, and after that, the comment you start. Kelly saying last night they did do just voter ID. It failed. Last night they did do just voter ID. It failed. I don't know what that means. Can you translate that?
It means that just voter ID means when you don't package other laws into the act. When you do an act, it has different concessions in the law, which is saying last second, everybody's about to leave. No one's going to get too much trouble for voting no, because they didn't campaign for it. It wasn't out in the news for a long time. So they did it at the last second, right? Whoever did that at the last second is doing it to save their own ass. This should have been passed months ago. Many months ago. This should have been number one priority. I won't pass anything till this gets passed since January. January last year.
Do you think like the result of not having the SAVE Act before the midterms is actually going to be that big as you're saying? Like
I think it's going to be worse than I'm saying.
Have repeatedly.
There's only one hope, and it's the DSA. The places that they could flip, I'm hoping there's two possibilities. One, that they do cheat, but they cheat for the if they cheat for the DSA, that's a problem, right?
Yes. So look at this. Verified court records and federal indictments prove that illegal votes have directly overturned local elections and compromised federal contests. In tight races with slim margins, even a handful of unlawful ballots is sufficient to change who wins office. Okay, so that confirms what you were saying. And then you start this comment. You want to respond to this?
Some blue areas pass a bill where a registered voter can vouch for 3 people. Okay, so Iowa, I think I don't know where that one is, but right now Iowa, 2 voters for an already registered voter. So you take 2 people. Yes, they don't have ID, but I know them, so let them vote. That's legal somehow. Minnesota, 8 voters. So you show up with your ID, you can bring 8 people with you, and they can vote. As an ordinary registered voter in the same precinct can vouch for residents up to 8 people on election day. On election day. There is also a special exception. An employee of a qualifying residential facility can vouch for an unlimited number of residents in that facility. Like, oh yeah, these 50 people? No, they're with me in the facility.
Wait, really quickly, Noah, the Persian American, saying, I can't wait till group today. Yes, guys, we have a group call today. In after our show, we're gonna go get ready for a group call. I'll put the link in the chat if you guys want to come talk to us. We have daily group calls there every day. The link is in the chat. So, and Noah's gonna be there. Other people will be there. Noah, I'll see you there in our group call later today. Thank you, and thank you for your support.
One last one. West Virginia has no cap in the statute. It's just not a registered voter without ID. A registered voter without ID can have an adult who has known them for at least 6 months swear to their identity. The statute does not state a maximum number of voters that an adult. So that's West Virginia, Minnesota, and Iowa. And I don't even know if that's the one he was talking about.
So, but everything that you're saying suggests that like maybe is game over for the Republican Party, but Stephen Miller here says the opposite. But I'm not gonna like. Let me play this, and then you could tell me.
I hope he's right. Let's hear him. Oh my God, give me some hope, Stephen.
Okay, let's see.
Nobody has done more to rebuild and save the Republican Party than Donald Trump since Abraham Lincoln himself. President Trump inherited a broken shell, a hollowed out husk of a political party after the Bush years, after the Ryan years, after the sellout years, and he turned it into the working class party, the middle class party. And he took states that had been blue forever. He took the blue wall. He took states like Wisconsin, states like Ohio, states like Pennsylvania. He pulverized that blue wall. How many Senate races have we seen where President Trump won a state by 8 points, 9 points, 10 points, 11 points? And it was just enough to bring along the Republican senator by half a point or a point to build that Senate Republican majority. How many Senate candidates has he dragged along to victory? And how many rhinos has he forced out of the party to elect real working class populist Republicans? People like, for example, Eric Schmidt, who represent the future of the Republican Party, where it is today. President Trump has raised more money for Republican candidates than any human in history. He has more enthusiasm and support from Republican voters than any candidate in history. I could keep going, Laura. The reality is, as he said, President Trump is dead on right here. What this comes down to is the Trump voter needs to show up in the midterms. It's about transferring the enthusiasm that the working class has, the real Americans have for President Trump, and turning that into midterm voters. That's the entire battle coming up here.
Thoughts?
He didn't address a single thing I talked about, so it doesn't give me any hope.
Do you think he's right about anything he said?
He's talking about the past. He's right because he's talking about things that happened.
Okay. Fit over 50 says nailed it.
Yeah. Like everything he said is true. It doesn't change anything I said or address it.
All right, let's see what President Trump says here.
Last question for you. If Democrats do take over the House, it's just going to be investigation mania. They're going to do oversight. They could impeach you again. I mean, do you think they will?
Well, a lot of people are saying I'm one of the greatest presidents ever.
They're not saying that, though.
But they know, they see the results. Look.
Last question.
But he doesn't answer the question on whether or not they're going to be impeaching him, and is he going to be able to do Let me listen to it again.
Last question for you. If Democrats do take over the House, it's just going to be investigation mania. You know, they're going to do oversight. They could impeach you again. I mean, do you think they will?
Well, a lot of people are saying I'm one of the greatest presidents ever.
They're not saying that, though.
So that's not really the answer to the question, but what do you think the answer to the question? I mean, he's right? That's what they're going to do.
That's exactly
Really
what they're going to
invest-
do. That's absolutely what they're going to do. Like, it's, oh my God, I can't believe they didn't pass this. It's so frustrating.
So it's going to be like the second half of President Trump's second term. He's basically not be able to do much if what you're saying comes true.
That's okay. If they, this is the problem. If they win one more, let's say they win the midterms, make Trump a lame duck. They're going to put everything into their power to change how elections work. Once they do that, they're going to try to get a new president in. If they get a Democrat president, they're going to executive order away everything they had done through Trump, open the border up again, and make deals with Iran a la Obama. They're gonna have a soft stance on China, a soft stance on Russia. Europe is gonna go from getting better to getting worse. Like it's a global disaster. You'll never be rid of the IRGC. I know people that come here, they only want to hear about Iran. They don't want to hear about American elections, but they will matter.
Oh yeah, this is going to be big. This is going to be big. I mean, they're both related, though. Very much related. Look at here.
Even if Vance wins, it's bad. Even if Vance wins, it's bad. It's terrible.
Oh, do you start this comment? Did you already read this?
Yes, this is on video. This is already on video. This is like not even a question. This is James O'Keefe, I think, checked on this on video, and Nick Shirley.
You want to read it? You want to read it?
Yeah. Todd Webb, this is how much of a gong show the elections are in California. People are having their legal residences registered to empty lots, alleys, and even porta potties. And they're not saying they are registering there. That's people registering. Oh, I have a person that appears to be in California. Let me register them wherever here so I can get a ballot. And I'll put the physical location where they live at a porta potty, but I'll have the ballot come to this PO box and I'll go pick up the ballot. You understand what I mean? So you register people wherever, even though they're not you, and you can register people without an ID, and then you go pick up those ballots at those mailboxes wherever you have them, and you just vote for them.
Let me show people what's already happening, maybe, and then for you guys to understand how much more of this we're going to have in the future, right here.
Not a great look. The mayor condemned it. The White House condemned it. But what about Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib? She reps Dearborn. Is she okay with her constituents chanting death to America? Fox Business correspondent Hillary Vaughn asked her. Watch.
Congresswoman Tlaib,
Fox News. I don't talk to Fox News.
at a rally in your district, people were chanting death to America. Do you condemn?
I do not talk to Fox News.
But do you condemn chants of death to America?
I don't talk to people that use racist tropes.
Why can't you just say whether or not you condemn people chanting death to America? Why are you afraid to talk to Fox?
Fox News is not listen, using racist tropes towards my community is what Fox News is about, and I don't talk to Fox News.
Is death to America racist?
Fox News.
Is chanting death to America racist?
Talking about your guys' racist tropes. You know, you guys know exactly what you do. I know you're Islamophobic, but you guys got to go deal with it on your own self. You're not going to use me.
So yeah, this is what people, by the way, I know these people. These people are directly tied to the Islamic Republic. This is a Shia. These people were chanting Khamenei, and Ali. So this is not even Muslim Brotherhood. This is directly the Islamic Republic, a different part of the Islamic. But there's so many of them. They're all over the United States and they're growing.
It's a big problem. And I'm having so much deja vu. So much deja vu. Trump turned out to be J.D. Pence. The people that were supposed to pass important legislature to secure the election were a bunch of virtue signaling rhinos. They passed everything that was easy. They didn't pass the hardest and most important ones. If we get a lame duck, it's gonna be impeachment hearing after impeachment hearing after impeachment hearing after impeachment hearing. Plus a war powers resolution after war powers resolution after war powers resolution. I'm just,
Monkey, that's your opinion. Like, of course.
Oh no! Did he think it was written in stone? Do you think I like I heard it from a burning bush? Yeah.
Whose opinion is he supposed to give? Of course, it's his opinion. Is he supposed to give like your opinion? Whose opinion should he be sharing?
Like, it's an opinion based on what has actually happened in the past, looking at the legislature, looking at the statistical numbers of what happened last time, right? Looking at where they literally put their illegal immigrants. This is a strategy. Like, this was always a strategy. It was never just, oh, let's let them in. No, this was literally a strategy. I'm going to put the link again. I think you should. I'm going to send it to you too, so you could look at the article. Maybe put it in an AI, have it resume it for you, because I know you're very busy. But I want you to check it out.
Send it to me on Telegram because I can't copy and paste it here.
Done.
Thank you. A lot of people get offended when you criticize President Trump, because a lot of people relied, which is like, people are just very sensitive.
Yeah, I don't.
First,
yeah, I don't like.
Armin. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just wanted to show you support as well. First of all, saying Armin Monkey is 100% correct here. Just wanted to show you support as well in the chat. And people saying,
listen, if you want to be a true friend, a true ally, you point out a person's weaknesses and you say, hey, get strong here, right? This is like, hey, if you have a friend who's an alcoholic and you see him grab a drink, you don't say, hey, I'm with you all the way, here, have another, right? That's not helping. You're just being a yes man. You're just worshiping. That's your new idol. Is Trump your golden idol? Because he doesn't need that. He needs people to tell him, hey, these people around you, they're not good. When Trump had Pence next to him, someone should have told him that guy is going to double cross you. Telling him, wow, you always make your best decisions. You're the best, man. That didn't help him. An echo chamber doesn't help you. You can have different opinions. There's people that are going to be there just to troll you. There are people that are going to talk shit to you because they're envious. There are people that are going to talk shit about you because you're doing the thing and they're sitting on the side talking about it once in a while. Right? But if you want to help someone, you give them the correct advice. Don't worry about like this superficial criticism like that. Like, oh, he's racist. He's a misogynist. He's such a misogynist. That's offensive. No one cares about that shit. Is it strategically good or bad to have these people next to you? Is your team making the correct strategic decisions for you politically and militarily? That you do need to look at the good and the bad of.
Yes. And the kid. Okay, so let me go back to President Trump, because there was a sign yesterday that he might do something big, but people were saying that, nope, yeah, you're reading too much into this. And this is what they were referring to.
I have so many people. I'll be here all day. If you could go quickly, I would appreciate it, because we have a war to prosecute, okay? That's my excuse for getting out of here a little bit early. But I've done my thing only in the sense that We're spending hundreds of millions of dollars and even billions of dollars in bringing your industry back. And we need your.
So people were referring to this yesterday, thinking that maybe today, especially because it's a weekend, something big is going to happen. Because he also said, I need to go because there's a war and we need to execute. But then nothing happened. But they were like this one video, they were reading so much into it that like, oh, he's planning a war. He's planning a major escalation. But nothing happened.
I mean, he keeps waffling on this. I think it's because Vance is in his ear. He needs to get Vance away from him. Everything that Vance has said is practically sabotage. I watched his words. Vance is more focused on selling his book and starting his campaign than he is on winning this war or helping the president. He's already shifting all the blame to Trump. That's what he's already doing. He's already more focused on selling his book. Like Vance is already a snake in the grass. And he needs to get the whole team that was on that deal, that was on that front, and just fire them from that job. You can't fire the vice president, but you can fire everyone else on that team. And you can't send Vance to do something else because the vice president can't just do whatever he wants. He's still under the president.
Yeah. See, people are saying, I agree, Monkey. Yes. Okay, I'm not going to read that. What did he say? He's just a VP. Some people are saying don't blame, like, you keep blaming Vice JD Vance, but he's just a VP. He's not going to have that much influence.
Influence on what? On what comes out of his mouth? I think he has very good influence on what comes out of his mouth. Because there's ways to say the things he said differently. When he starts saying, oh, Israel wants to have influence and everybody wants to have influence. Motherfucker, the deal you're making includes what happens when Hezbollah shoots at them. Why didn't you point that out to Joe Rogan? Oh, because the first thing you did was sell your book. Then you said, oh, well, I'm just trying to do what the president told me to do. And then you say, oh, Israel, they have influence. And a lot of people have influence. Not pointing out, hey, part of this deal is them getting shot by Hezbollah and how they react to it. Like, you're the vice president. Is there a hand up your ass controlling your mouth? Are you a fucking puppet? He is responsible for what he said.
Look at this.
No, he doesn't have enough power. He has power over his mouth.
Look at what I just found here. Look at what Rubio is saying here. Because this might be a confirmation that we were low on munitions. And this is why we didn't continue with the military operations. But I might be reading too much into this. Let me play it first.
So under the leadership of someone who needs to be recognized, our Undersecretary Jacob Hellberg. I don't know if Jacob is here, but Jacob's been phenomenal. He came up with something called PAC Silica, and it's an initiative that leads our efforts to partner with the private sector and invest in mining and refining and in processing, as well as the end use applications of that. There's still a lot of work left to do, but we at the State Department are willing to utilize our unmatched global presence, our presence all over the world to ensure that we're working on this. And we're committed to working with industry, with universities, with all the elements of our national power to bring this about. And so thank you, Mr. President, for prioritizing this. And I think we all look forward to working not just nationally, but with our allies around the world to ensure that we have supply chains that are diversified and reliable, and no country can ever hold this over our head and threaten us in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Marco.
Okay, so not munitions, but in general, I think he's referring to the fact, like, I don't know if this is a kind of such a, like, indirectly talking about the Islamic Republic being able to threaten them and hold us, because he's saying in the future we don't want our supply chains for everything needs to be in a way that no country could basically threaten us because of lack of supplies of anything and use that as a threat against us. I don't, maybe I'm connecting the dots that are not there, but to me it just reminded me of the fact that the United States has enough munitions to deal with the Islamic Republic, but as you mentioned before, it's not globally for other threats, there wasn't enough munitions to deal with all the defense needs of the United States globally. And that's a failure of supplying what the United States needs. And, it's not munitions, minerals, AI, chips, everything. The United States has to make sure that it's in a position where lack of supply of anything cannot be used as a way to hold the United States back ever again.
Well, my take on this is lack of supply could also be energy. They could be saying, hey, we're going hard on nuclear, we're going hard on refining our own oil, the heavy stuff in case we need it for textiles, for all the other stuff that's made with oil, which a lot of stuff is made with oil and with different kinds of oil. And if we don't need the Middle East for anything, and we become the fastest supplier for everyone, then we leave a big problem for everyone over there, but it stops being our problem. Like, I don't like it, but let's say we move so fast on oil, we move so fast on oil byproducts and processing, we move so fast in arming the people who are our allies, that we don't need to arm the Saudis. Okay, you know what? You and Iran have it out. Kill each other. I don't care. And you guys, I'll back Israel, but Israel is starting to make their own stuff. You guys deal with Israel. You don't want to deal with Israel? Fight it out. I don't care. I don't have enough energy for my allies and me. I have enough oil for my allies and me. Europe, oh, you being cagey? You know what? I don't care. What are you gonna do? That would be the biggest problem that Iran could have, is basically that no one needs the oil, and the influence here through election interference and all these things is so high that it is too politically untenable to help them. The only thing that was like an emergency right now was the nuclear stuff. The biological stuff, it's hard. It's a bigger problem, but it's harder to prove from a distance. And now the solution has become, we'll just bomb the place like you've been doing for, 30 years. When they're making a new nuke, bomb it again. Just bomb it again. We're not going to go free the people. We're not going to go try to arm them. We're not going to have a blockade. If they start up a reactor, bomb it again. That's not what I want. But people are so laser focused on their subject that they're not looking at the big picture. And the big picture is, if it becomes a politically untenable and the only way for the Republicans to survive is to cut themselves off from the world, it's going to happen. And hey, the Democrats can't wait to not only cut themselves from the world, but to fund the evil people around the world and let them gain power. I have taken less the number of days I've been nonstop since I started, right? The number of days that I haven't been on my show, if I count them on one hand, I have fingers left over. I have not stopped talking about this. Not one day.
All right, let's move on to this. I know this is CNN. And probably won't believe what they're saying. I just want to see if it could be true, right? Saying CNN is reporting that over the last few weeks, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs General Dan Kane has privately made clear to other top Trump advisors that the U.S. needs to find an off-ramp from the war with Iran, sources say. So,
what are those sources? Like, I'd have a problem with CNN sources, because if I look at their record, their sources usually suck. But I don't think that's any logical conversation. I'm not saying that he's saying that, but a lot of people would like to say, okay, so what's the goal here? And if the goal isn't to put in a transitional government and do a humanitarian mission to put the people in charge, then what is the goal? Because we can't just have a blockade there forever. You can't make Iran the new Cuba. You can't just have an eternal blockade there. Because what's going to happen is going to turn into Cuba. The buildings are going to become decrepit. The people will become more poor and more poor, have less of energy and less of a will to fight. Like, what are we going to do?
So other news are reporting this as well, but again, it doesn't mean it's true. Like Ynet, AliveMint, ANI is reporting as this as well that top U.S. military leadership is actively pushing for diplomatic alternatives to prevent an extended, unsustainable war with the Iranian regime. Strained air defense inventories and regional energy security risks in the Persian Gulf have accelerated calls for a negotiated end to hostilities. And the sources behind the report are 3 senior U.S. officials with direct knowledge. Okay, who are they though?
These senior officials could be 3 Democrat senators.
Okay. Are the sources anonymous, or do we know their names? Who broke this to CNN? That's what I want to know. Do they give
Well, I don't trust them because sometimes the sources say, and what they say is turns out to be wrong in 2 weeks.
3 unnamed anonymous sources. There you go.
That means nothing to me.
Yeah. I mean, we're not saying it's not true, but we can't believe it until.
The thing is, this is what they do. They find something plausible because everyone's been saying this, and they attribute it to some source close to someone important said. But it's like, well, maybe they did say it, but you didn't hear it. You're just guessing, or you're just attributing it like that. Like they find it so plausible that everybody's gonna say, "Oh, this confirms it." What everyone was saying.
All right. Listen to this, and I'll be right back. I'll be back in 30 seconds, like 1 minute tops. But listen to this I'll be right back.
What all of the logic tells us is very straightforward. Everything that we've just reviewed and everything we've talked about up until this point will logically point to the conclusion that we have to be done with this. Like, literally, what can we do? Bomb them again? We've been bombing them. We're going to bomb them more. We bombed them more in the beginning and it didn't work. There's nothing that we can do to change this. They say, well, we could invade the islands. Okay, thousands of Americans are going to die and you're not going to be able to hold on to them. And you're still not going to be able to open up the strait. What do you do then? You're going to invade Iran? With what, 1 million soldiers? It's never going to happen. So every sensible person would say, based on the evidence, that we lost. I mean, there's really just nothing more to it. We lost. We tried it. We failed. It's not for lack of trying. Israel convinced us that we could go in and pursue regime change.
So he says we lost. What do you say to that? Did you lose?
We will lose if we stop.
So if we stop, would you say that in the war between United States and the Islamic Republic won and United States lost if you stop it?
Yes. Yes, because they would control the strait. The second we leave the only thing I would call a stalemate is we leave an eternal blockade. And we just grow our military to be able to do that. And that would turn Iran into Cuba. And they would get better at getting stuff through land because it's not an island.
Somebody's saying this is demoralization. What do you say to that?
Okay, give me hope. Tell me something that's true that I can jump onto. Give me a life vest. Give me a life vest. Give me a lifeboat. Like I don't want to feel this way, but everything I'm saying is true. If you got a truth that cancels out what I'm saying or gives me another path, show it to me. I don't want to be right. Right? If I want to go to the beach, it's raining. I'm like, it's raining. Oh, this is demoralizing. It's not. Yeah, but the rain is still falling. I can try to cheer you up and say we can go another day, right? But it doesn't change the facts of what's going on today. Tomorrow, the bombing might start. And I'll be right next to you screaming, yippee! You understand? But if we're just going, this is something that happens when you're talking about current events as they are laid out presently. People take it as a guarantee of what's going to happen in the future. No, I'm just telling you, as the facts stand now, this is what's happening. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at Armin. We're just telling you what's as things look right now. Well, what he could have meant. Yeah, I could tell you what he could have meant, but I'm also telling you exactly what he said and exactly what it means as of now. It could have been a play for a future plan. Until that future plan comes to fruition, what is said and what is said, the rest is a possibility. I'm not trying to depress you. Please give me something solid that says we're about to hit. We're building up troops. Show me that the 101st and the 82nd is going in. Show me that they're moving over there. Show me a report that planes are moving over there. And I'll be like, you know what? Yeah, that looks good.
Okay, so we got a super chat. Steven is saying it's his job to provide off ramps if needed. It's President
job?
Trump's job. President Trump, I think. Oh,
yeah, but
no.
Okay. This
Oh,
thing
no.
about
No,
off ramps.
General Kane. I think General Kane. I think that's what he means. Steve, to provide. That's his job to do that. I don't know if he's talking about President Trump and General Kane.
Okay, so here's the thing. General Kane, it is his job to provide off ramps, but this sounds like a political off ramp, not a military one. Saying we need to make a deal, that's not what generals do. Generals bomb. A general is not there to provide you a political off ramp. I don't even know why a general would be talking about. He'd be looking for off ramps on the from the politicians so he can clarify his military goals. He's like, you got to tell me, what are we doing? Are we going in or are we not going in? Because just staying here, like if we got to leave, tell me what are we doing? What's the off ramp? If we're staying, tell me so I can make a plan for going in. Like ramping on and off. Yes, he does that, but it's the politicians that decide the goal. And if the off-ramp is political, it's the deal. Oh, what's the deal going to be? The deal is going to be this? Okay, as a military person, I can tell you, this is how we go out without losses. This is how we protect the areas we're keeping. This is how we provide security while allowing other things to go by. This is how we protect our allies as we leave. That's the off-ramp you provide. But to provide an off-ramp, you need to know from the politicians what's the deal going to be.
Right. So Rabbit here is saying Grease Monkey is so right. We are screwed without fair and free elections. We Republicans are pissed. We voted in majority in everything, and Thune was proposed was what?
Yes,
June.
John Thune, I think is his name. He's like
Thune was supposedly blocking safe. Thune was purposely blocking Save America Act. Okay, so he's right. He's agreeing with you there. And then Sheems was also saying, as an Iranian, I agree with Monkey. Bobby disagrees with you, saying, sure, live in fear if you want.
I'm not.
And then living in fear.
That's such an emotional reaction. Live in fear. I'm not afraid. I'm warning. Yeah. Like, oh, if I ring the fire bell, am I afraid of fire? Well, yeah, but I'm also hopeful that when I hit this button, the fire truck is going to come.
Right.
If I was just, I don't think everything's bad, what am I going to do? Sit in my room, depressed and cry? No. I'm out here every day. Like you can count on one hand and have left fingers the days that I haven't been able to stream. And that's just one show in 3 shows a day. I'm here 8 hours a day for the cause, telling people, This election is very important for Iran. It's very important for the whole fucking planet. A lot of people can talk shit about me, but they're not out there doing as much work as I am. There's a lot of people in the chat that talk shit about me. There's a lot of people everywhere that talk shit. Are you out there doing more work than me for this? Are you raising your voices higher? Are you trying to help, or are you just sitting there criticizing?
Amir, our Israeli friend, also is saying monkey is correct, and is saying monkey 100%. So some people disagree with you, some people agree with you in the chat. What do you think about this part of what he said? He's saying like Israel convinced. Look at this.
Nothing more to it. We lost. We tried it. We failed. It's not for lack of trying. Israel convinced us that we could go in and pursue regime change and succeed quickly and decisively, and they were fucking wrong.
What do you say to that? It's like Israel convinced us and they were fucking wrong.
No, I don't think Israel, like, this is the difference between having an immediate action to stop an immediate problem. Like he's mixing two things. The immediate action to stop the immediate problem. There was casus belli, they call it, a reason to believe that they had a nuclear material enough to make 11 weapons, something which they already admitted, and that they have ballistic missiles that could reach Europe, which they demonstrated when they shot a missile at Diego Garcia.
Yeah.
So they have the reach, they have the material, and they're very short distance away from reaching that. That's different from goals in Iran. Goals on the long term in Iran. Goals in the long term in Iran, well, you can't let them spin that up again. What are you going to have to do? You're going to keep bombing the nuclear sites where they hold that forever? Okay, maybe that's what you got to do. Are you going to put a blockade on the strait forever? That's a different problem. Did Israel convince us? I don't think that's what happened. If it was for Israel, we would have bombed all the leadership already.
By the way, guys, I know some of you are saying like, oh, if you want hope, do this, do that. We're going to be honest with you guys. Like if you're interested in just like, because if people are overly pessimistic, we confront that and we give you hope. But if people are just painting you a rosy, like colored
rose-colored
glasses and just basically telling you like, oh, everything is okay, when like they don't see the problems, and only we confront people who only see the problems and not the not the good, not the positives. But we also confront people who only see the positives and don't want to see when things are not going our way. And I understand some of you guys want to like live in a bubble and go into a place where everybody's like, somebody is like hugging you and telling you like everything is okay, everything is fine, nothing is going wrong. And if you want that comfort, I understand why some of you don't like this. So when we point out the good things, you might come here because we're pointing out the good things, but then we point out the bad things and you get uncomfortable and like, oh, okay, this is not a safe area for me. I understand some of you might be too sensitive to be able to deal with the negativity, and I understand that. Okay, but me and Monkey, we have to consider both the positive and the negative, and we try to be realists here instead of just telling you what you want to hear. And I understand some other content creators might do what you want them to do and just give you only the positive stuff. And if you want to go, I don't know, masturbate with that, then go ahead and do that. That's your choice. And maybe you're not interested in actual, what's really happening. You just want comfort. If you want comfort, then okay, then go with somebody who just gives you comfort only and nothing else. But here we're trying to, I'm not saying we're right. I'm not saying Monkey and I are 100% right all the time. But we are trying to be realists instead of just being always optimists or always pessimists. Right?
There's another point to be made here, that people who value their feelings over facts, I know that's a lot of people. I know people who say my feelings don't care about your facts. You're making me feel this, you're making me feel that. We understand that there are people like that. but those aren't the people that make a difference, right? If you want someone that makes a difference, it's not the person that's going to be constantly offended, constantly, constantly, well, that made me feel bad. I feel threatened. I feel this. I feel that. Like they're all about their feelings. Right. That's not going to get you anywhere. What's going to get you anywhere is the people that are aggressive and consistent. Like
Right.
one of the things about me that has me here, and I think Armin will agree because we've spoken about this before. He likes that I'm aggressive. I'm aggressive when I'm seeking a subject. I'm aggressively seeking the truth. And if someone says, no, but my feelings, but my this and my that, he knows I'm going to say, I don't give a fucking shit about your fucking feelings, bitch. Fuck you and your bitch ass feelings. These are the facts. Like we've had this discussion. That's why I'm here. I'm going to go even farther. Armin is a lot better at the devil's advocate position. So I'm just trying to help. Like I think he saw in me, hey, when this guy sees has a bone to pick, he's gonna pick it. Right? I'm not gonna waffle. I'm gonna be able to show both positions. And I can steel man the opposite position. I can steel man Trump. I can steel man like a lot of things out here. I'm having difficulty with it. But the steel manning that I've done for this point, I can do it again, but at this point, I'm just repeating myself a lot. Yeah, no sugarcoating. Thank you, Dr. Ehlert.
Yeah, Bob was saying true, or maybe we also have a voice. And you do. That's why we put your opinions on the screen. So when so it gets recorded. So when Monkey and I are saying something that you guys disagree with, other people could see your disagreement being recorded on the screen and will forever be on the screen next to what we are saying. Right. And guys, by the way, our plan is to bring more people up. So it's not just me and Monkey speaking. So more of you get to come and speak as well. That's the whole plan. So we include opinions that agree with Monkey and I and opinions that disagree with Monkey and I. So you get all the perspectives. And right now, this is the reason why you're on the your opinions are on the screen, so that your opinions get recorded. And in the future, we'll bring more of you guys up to add your voices here.
But you got to be aggressive and consistent, because just being like, too wishy-washy, that's, we can't work like that. And here's another thing. You can have different opinions, but have different opinions about the topics, not about the speakers. If you're not talking about the topics and you're always talking about the speaker, that makes you more of a person engaging in office politics than it makes you a person trying to fight for the cause. Like the subject shouldn't be Armin or me. It should be the subject.
Justin gave us a super chat saying Vahidi admitted just 2 days ago that the intention of nuke program is for bomb, not energy. Do we really think we just walk away now? Do we really think after that Trump and Kane are throwing up their hands? Well, here's the thing, Justin. I think, and again, I'm not saying this is the correct way of looking at it, but it might be that they're worried more about the midterms right now, because if they lose the midterms bigly, then what can they do after? Like you're saying, like they can't give up. Well, they will be forced to give up if the Democrats win big during the midterms. So they're thinking that even if we have to deal with the Islamic Republic, to be able to do that, first we have to deal with the midterms. And to be able to do that, we need to deal with the situation that, oil prices cannot be high, that our oil reserves are too low, our defense munitions are too low globally. But Monkey had the counter to that counter, saying, then what you should have done is that you should have gone hard on the Islamic Republic and gotten a huge win. So, and that would have changed the results of the midterms, and also had the SAVE Act passed. I don't know if it's too late for that. Their counter to that it is too late.
I'll check.
Okay, Monkey is checking if it's too late right now. And their counter to that counter, like, we couldn't have gone too hard because this we didn't have enough defense munitions. But again, then there's a counter to that counter, and we keep going on, right? But yeah, but I agree with you, Justin, that this cannot be ignored. Like, the Islamic Republic, one way or another, this is kicking the can down the road. You cannot ignore the Islamic Republic. You cannot not escalate war with the Islamic Republic, because if you don't finish it now, if you want to finish it later, they're going to be stronger compared to now later. Here's the only possible way that this might get solved earlier is, again, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's a possibility, is that the blockade is still on, and we haven't yet seen the devastation of the true devastation of the blockade on the American blockade on the Iranian ports. And what you've seen when it comes to economic devastation in Iran, if the blockade continues as it is, if it continues, is nothing compared to what's about to hit Iran economically. And if that happens, there are chances that we're going to see a complete collapse of the Islamic Republic's war machine, and at the same time more uprisings. Again, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but the United States might have intelligence that suggests that something like that is imminent, and that's why instead of getting into military operations, they're just holding on to the blockade. And also, we got Deborah celebrating 3 months of membership by saying, Monkey Business knows his stuff. Yeah, Monkey does know his stuff. Agree or disagree with the Monkey, he does know his stuff, even if you disagree with it.
Okay, so
Anyway,
this is kind of dumb, but they have from the 14th to the 18th. That's 4 days.
Oh my God!
Of
this
September.
Month? What?
After the 18th of September, you're too close to the election.
Okay.
You can't change rules at the last second, is basically what they're saying. And 45 days is the last second. So right now, the only way to pass the SAVE Act is basically from the 14th to the 18th of September. There is one last hope, which is the way Trump won last time, and which is why I have been going every day without stopping. You got to warn everybody and make it too big to fail, too big to steal. If they're so too big to rig, that's the term I was looking. If you make it too big to rig, if it's such an overwhelming majority that are voting, I mean, that's the only way. But you'd have to wake up so many people.
Right. Look at this. Justin gave us a super chat saying, in my opinion, midterms are already lost unless Trump gets some kind of win, like deal to end the Islamic Republic nukes. I've just been afraid lately that might now mean Iran doesn't get freed, which we ultimately want. I mean, I think your concerns, whether they're right or not, they're justified. I think Justin's concerns, even if they end up happening or not happening, I think his concerns are like, based on the way he's describing it, is justified.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to tell me how you feel, and it's very different to tell me that because of how you feel, I have to shut up. Express how you feel, brother. I feel your pain too. You're not imposing your will on me because of your feelings. All of you express your feel. I'm a very emotional person too, but I don't use my emotions to justify the silencing of another. So when I'm talking about feelings and getting in your feelings, I'm not talking about you not being able to express them. I welcome their expression. The problem is when the expression of that feeling is done to silence another. Like, I feel your pain too.
Yeah, and I think like I'm Justin. I think I'm concerned about exactly what you're concerned about as well. So, and I agree, Monkey, 100%. And Mama Boss Brit is saying the war hanging over our heads will lose the midterms for GOP.
Can I steal,
That's what-
man?
Yes, go ahead, Steven.
There are three things, three cards that can be played. Cuba, we could do a Venezuela and Cuba. Venezuela, we could secure elections and have more of a show of how our companies and oversight is working in Venezuela. And Greenland, we could secure a deal with Greenland and promote that. If you put those three wins and get the midterms, that secures everything later. The problem with not passing the SAVE Act is like, even if the Democrats can't elect a president, if they win the House and the Senate, it's a huge problem. You don't want a lame duck president, especially with these new Democrats.
So I'm going to quickly say the counter to that, and then you could say the counter to counter short, and then we'll move on to the rest of this clip. And I also want to share something from Ben Shapiro, because Ben Shapiro says that he has the answer on how to solve this. We'll see if we agree with him. So the counter to that is that those things that you're offering, they take a lot longer than people think to accomplish. Like none of those things is going to be a quick fix.
The quickest, the Maduro on Cuba. The Venezuela thing, it's more about showing than doing. Right? It's more about hyping up and ramping up. And that's something we're obviously going to do. Our wins in Venezuela, how our companies are doing better, how much we get, blah, 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 blah. That's more talking than doing. So that's basically all we have to do is promote that. It doesn't take long to do. It's already done. Doing what Maduro did in Cuba takes as long as it took. Like, there's not a large military. It ain't in Iran. It's not even a large island, right? Well, it's a pretty large island. I mean, I can take that back. It's a pretty large island.
Got it.
But it's not as big as Iran. And on Greenland, yes, I will concede that would take longer.
All right. Let's finish this, because I want to go to Ben Shapiro, because he had a short video saying like this is what we're supposed to do. So let me finish this.
I'm sorry, I got sidelined. I tracked.
It's okay.
And succeed quickly and decisively, and they were fucking wrong. It wasn't possible. And our generals told us it wasn't possible. They were wrong. We tried it. We tried it over and over and over, and it just didn't work, and we failed, and we lost. And losses have consequences. When you lose, your enemy gets to impose the terms. So yes, since we lost, Iran is going to kick us out of the Persian Gulf. They're going to take the strait. We're going to have to give them their money back. We're probably going to have to let them sell their oil, more so for our own sake than for theirs. And that's really just all there is to it. We lost, time to let it go. But what the administration is saying, they're still hanging on. The administration said on Saturday, we're going to make a deal with Iran. Tuesday, they said, it's going really well. We're making a deal. And Iran is telling us there's no deal. There's what we are saying, and you're just going to accept it. And the White House response is to say, no, you're never charging a toll. You're never going to get control over the strait. And so at what point does Trump let it go?
If we ever see a situation where the Americans leave the area, the blockade is removed, and the Islamic Republic is controlling has maintained some level of control over the Strait of Hormuz, would you say that that's basically a full loss if that happens?
I would say yes.
Okay. And do you see, what are the chances of that happening?
Very high.
Right now? Very high? Okay.
Very high right now.
Mm-hmm.
This could change tomorrow. Like if you talk to me right now, it's Sunday. I mean, are they gonna like I will put it, the chance that we lose it right now is losing, because you got to understand, I'm talking losing all the shit they talk. I'm not talking about losing well, they can't have a military weapon. Every time we think they do, we're gonna send this guy's gonna be missing pixel, and we're gonna bomb them. Yeah, that war we can win. The win of them not having nukes, that's doable. That's something that can be done. Now, them not getting control of the straits and having a toll without us there, if they do that, we have lost all the shit we talked. And only because we talked all that shit.
Do you want to see Ben Shapiro's solution to all of this and see if we agree with them?
I hope so.
Okay, let's see.
I think there are things that could be done that range from striking their energy facilities and walking away to allowing our allies in the region, ranging from Israel to Saudi Arabia to UAE, to have oversight over these particular areas. I think we could probably just walk away, retain the sanctions, and then let the Europeans, Japanese, and Chinese deal with the Strait of Hormuz. I think the worst case scenario here is cutting a bad deal that ends with Iran in a position to rebuild with control over the strait. And that's the thing that I'm concerned about.
So I don't think you could just bomb their infrastructure and walk away, because if you bomb their infrastructure and walk away, they're going to bomb, every other infrastructure in the region as well. And I don't think the Americans want that. I know a lot of people are like, oh, let them, because it's Saudi Arabia, who cares? It will devastate the oil market. It will devastate. I think the United States does care about that. But,
cutting a bad deal that ends with Iran in a position to rebuild with control over the strait. And that's the thing that I'm concerned about.
Okay. Are you concerned about it for both the welfare of the United States and Israel? Is there a nexus there? Because obviously Iran wants to wipe out every Jew on the planet.
Obviously there's a crossing of streams there. My predominant interest is obviously that the United States wishes for there not to be a nuclear Iran. This is something that the president has said over and over again. Obviously, there are other allies in the region that are threatened by Iran, including Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, UAE, Kuwait, all of which have been active in this conflict. And so I think there sometimes is an attempt to say that the only interest in the region is the Israeli interest, and that if you're in favor of the president ending the conflict victoriously, it must only be on Israel's behalf. A strange contention, given the fact that I'm sure that if you ask Prime Minister Netanyahu what he would want, and you just, what would he want in a utopian world? The answer presumably would be the toppling of the Iranian regime using whatever possible force is necessary, which is not something that I've actually called for. So again, I think that America's interests here are pretty discreet. I think.
So what do you think about solutions? Just bombing the infrastructure and walking away? I don't agree with that.
I don't think that.
Yeah.
That's basically who would come.
Wait, I think you're getting cut. Can you say that again?
Who would come?
What do you mean? Can you explain?
The U.S. bombs the infrastructure. The IRGC are incredibly weak and kind of open to someone coming in. Who would come if the USA leaves? Maybe some Kurds. They're already kind of rattling around the north and south. I think it's northwest and southwest. Like who would come in? Who would do anything?
The separatists. I don't think that even if you bomb the infrastructure, it's going to be enough for the separatist groups are actually a lot weaker than people think. I think nobody. I don't think it. I think bombing the infrastructure might cause uprisings inside Iran. It might weaken. Okay, the people who might come is the Iranian people against the regime. I don't think there's any force strong enough to be able to come in. They might be able to come in and challenge the Islamic Republic a bit from the side, but they're not going to be able to come in to and replace the Islamic Republic. But it might weaken the regime to the point where first of all, because of the economic devastations, we might get more uprisings. And because of it weakening the Islamic Republic, it might get the uprisings to actually work because of how weak the Islamic Republic gets. But the reason why I don't think the United States would do that is because the Islamic Republic because that's the last major, like the biggest thing that the United States could do against Islamic is that. And then if that happens, the Islamic Republic would then attack the oil infrastructure in the region. And I know a lot of people are going to say, like, who cares? Let them do it. Screw the Arab countries. But again, I don't think the United States, I mean, if you guys were in the White House, you might do it. But I don't think the White House would want that for the Islamic Republic to be able to just bomb the oil infrastructure in the region. So they're not going to do
Well,
it.
I agree. The only caveat, this is me steel manning. Let's say there's already contact with Artesh. This is my best case scenario. And we're not really arming, we're just talking to a whole bunch of commanders in Artesh, and there is a plan. Okay, we're going to back the Artesh. And we're going to find loyal commanders in the Artesh who swear fealty to Pahlavi. And we're going to, I don't know, take a portable polygraph. That's actually a thing. And check if they're telling the truth. It's very possible to do a portable polygraph, see if they do hate the IRGC, that these people are in charge, how many troops they can lead. And if you get enough leaders in and you get like do a Green Beret situation where you're just siding with the Artesh against the IRGC, that's my best case scenario, in which it's Iranian people versus IRGC, and we're less involved. That's the best case scenario I can think of. What Ben's saying here isn't really giving me much hope. Yeah, a polygraph, that thing. It's not a lie detector, but it's close enough to it's been tested enough to try it. Like, what are you going to do? Just ask the guy? You got to try something. If they don't know how it works, they might be nervous enough to,
The issue that people might bring up with that is that, according to many people, including Princess Pahlavi's team, is that we can't really have. They suggested, I'm not saying it's 100% true or not, but I'm just saying that their expectation is that something like that will only happen closer to the fall of the regime. Like, we're getting really close to the edge of the Islamic Republic collapsing.
Okay, this scenario is like, if I'm including that scenario into what Ben said was hit the infrastructure, hit every power plant, hit every bridge. I'm incorporating that into Ben's scenario. I'm like steel manning his scenario. So if they do that, but they back the Artesh and find ways to arm them, and then the Artesh can start recruiting people and vetting people and move from city to city, that would be a better scenario. But I'm kind of stretching here.
So let me actually read the super chat. Justin is saying, if Trump does have some master plan to end regime in the next few months, I predict that video will be the beginning of the end of Nick. I predict that video. Oh, okay. This, I mean, I don't know if it will be the end, because Nick has been able to make mistakes and come out, and so here's what he does, which is kind of clever. He has done multiple videos coming out and saying, like, oh, I was wrong about that, I was right about this, right? So because only the people who insist that they're always right pay a huge price for being wrong. But if you make it a habit of sometimes you yourself, before other people point out your mistakes, if you make it a habit of you pointing out your own mistakes before anybody gets to, then that's a very strategic way of making your mistakes less costly. And he has done that, right? Like, yeah, I made mistakes, I admitted it, right? And make it, you could even benefit from your mistakes because you come and admit it, and people are like, oh, wow, look at this, pretty honest. He admits his own mistakes.
Maybe learn
I don't
from
know
it.
if it would. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I learned from it. So, yeah. So it is a way for you to survive, even if you make wrong predictions. And thank you, Justin.
He's like cucaracha, the cockroach. They survive a nuclear apocalypse. Like, he's a survivor.
Yeah, he is. Unfortunately, guys, this is why we have to don't underestimate Nick. He's like a really, serious.
I want to see him
we
wear
have.
the yarmulke. I know Jews are going to get mad, but imagine all this directed at Islam.
Right. Yeah. Fit over 50 Fitness gave us 10 joules. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And then you start this comment.
Yes, we have Pi Squared saying Trump already has an EO for midterms. There will be no cheating. And I tried to look that up, and he is correct. Like when I say chat,
What's
give
EO?
me hope. That's what Pi Square just did. Yes, Trump signed a new executive order, ensure citizen verification and integrity in federal elections. I don't want to go over all the details, but this does give me a higher hope. Thank you very much. This
There
was
we go.
signed. This was signed a while ago. I don't know why it's not being talked about more. It might be why they're not so urgent about the SAVE Act, but this is something that's not discussed a lot. So I'm glad that you brought it to my attention because I wasn't as aware of it. That doesn't mean you get to relax, chat. You hear me? You hear me out there? Still got to make it too big to rig, guys. We still got to make it too big to rig, okay? But thank you, Pi Square.
You know, talking about immigration and how that would affect the midterms might be a good segue to this other Nick video that I had. He blames Trump for all of this. Let's play this.
In 2024, there were 20 to 25,000 births from birth tourism, which is, I mean, Biden brought in 10 million people, as we all know. We're acquainted with this by now. He got 10 million illegals coming in 4 years, and they want to crack down on 20,000 people a year. It's nothing. It's nothing. And sooner or later, we have to accept the fact that this is just over. Unless we get a true tyrant, you're never stopping immigration. You're never reversing any of this. And it's sort of sad. People need to properly understand it. Trump could have done it, should have done it. He failed, and now it will never happen. And it's his fault.
Didn't Trump do the best when it comes to immigration? Isn't that the one area that nobody can deny that he actually did really good?
Okay, I'll point out the trick. In there, he slid in birth tourism. That's what he's talking about.
Oh.
When it comes to everyone else, and that went through the Supreme Court. It's not like he wasn't trying. The Supreme Court went against that. They have to do it now through law. Like they would have to basically the court saying, we're not taking this. You guys go do it in the law. And there is a way to do it in the law.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's the Supreme. Yeah, when it comes to birthright citizenship, that was the Supreme Court. What is the President Trump supposed to do?
And on immigration, build the wall, deport everybody. This has been ongoing for 11 years. He didn't do it. And if he can't do it, and if it can't be done now, then no one's going to do it ever. So he blew it. We had a good chunk of time here. We had all the time in the world between 2017 and now to get this problem solved. If they built the wall in the first term, maybe you wouldn't have had 10 million illegals come in under Biden. Maybe it just wouldn't have happened. And if they started the deportation machine early this year or last year, or if they did it in the first term, maybe you'd have fewer illegals now than you did back then. But none of that happened. They got lazy. They didn't know what they were doing. There was treachery. There's all kinds of reasons why it didn't happen, but it didn't happen, and now it might never happen.
Didn't so many people self-deport anyways because of Trump's policies?
Remember the trick. Everything he's saying now is about birthright citizenship. So he's technically telling the truth, not telling the truth because of the Supreme Court angle, but he's basically not talking about that. So he can say, oh, we basically lost on this, blah, 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 blah. Everybody's going to say, no, we didn't. And he's like, wait a minute, listen to what he's talking about.
Yeah, see, people are saying more than 1.5 million self-deported. I always thought that the best way to get illegals deported is to remove the incentives rather than hunting them down. It's much more, but the PR wise, it's a lot cleaner and it's actually a lot less expensive. I think the people that need to get arrested more for people to get deported, that's for people to self-deport, is American CEOs who hire illegals. So instead of like going, instead of focusing at least on going in and hiring the illegals, what you could do is you could go in and put CEOs in handcuffs and make a big deal out of it, put it on camera that we are arresting CEOs who hire illegals, and then put them in prison. And that way it would be very difficult for the left to come be against this. Or like, what are you going to do, leftists? You're going to defend CEOs? You're going to defend CEOs? You're going to defend rich people now, right? And you just arrest anybody who's hiring illegals, and then for them to just be no jobs for the illegals, and they're just going to have to go back because there's no money to be made.
Listen.
That was my plan.
I mean, it's
plan.
like you're whispering sweet nothings in my ear. Arrest the employers. Oh my God. The hairs on the back of my head and my arms are standing up. Oh, you're talking like that. Put them in cuffs. Oh God.
Yes.
That would be so good.
Yeah.
You know what? I'd have a political orgasm, not a real one, not a physical one, but politically. Oh my God.
Okay. Yeah, don't make it. No, but like, yeah, you could go to the left and say like, oh, you wanted to attack the rich. You were anti-CEO. You're anti-big corporations. Well, there you go. We're arresting CEOs. We're arresting all the CEOs and making a big deal, camera in face, handcuffs. Put them in the van, record everything, humiliate them. Rich people hate that shit. They hate that shit. They're gonna, as soon as you don't even need to do this, as soon as you start that, as soon as the first videos comment on TV, on like they show that on the news that this is what the Trump is doing to CEOs, everybody was gonna fall in line. Like every single CEO is gonna fire all the illegals the day after they see that.
See, the problem is that Trump lets CEOs he knows tell him, oh, but I have these people in my farm. I have these people in my hotel, in the service industry. I'm like, yeah, those are the first people you have to arrest. But when Trump talks about that, he's like, oh, we need to have a path, these people, blah, 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 blah. And he also does this with the H-1B program. And I'm like, no, you need to stop that. We found like 1 million, I think it was 1 million of the H-1B visas from India were fake. Like they was from a fake university, made up, doctored. Like you have to take a really good look at these programs. And Trump on this is where, as a good friend, you would tell him, hey, you're being a little soft on this. You can't let these people that call themselves your friend tell you, because you're my friend, do me this favor that's bad for the whole nation. That's not a friend. That's a person that's using you for their self-interest.
Yeah. Just want to say one more thing before we go to Ben Shapiro talking about Iran again. But and also, how cheap that would be? CEOs, you know where they live. They're not hiding. They're documented. And there's so much fewer in number. You know how much the return on investment? The CEOs that are hiring illegal, you don't need to do all the complicated operations of sending ICE to find every single one of these, illegals, figuring out who's who. You just even arrest 5 CEOs, everybody else would, crap their pants. All the other ones will crap their pants and they will start firing them the day after. It's so much cheaper to do that as well, and so much more effective. Anyways, I think
one last thing on this. Tom Homan and Kash Patel should do it without telling Trump. Do exactly what you said without telling Trump. Bam. What's he going to
do? Okay, yeah. All right. Okay, let's see. But Ben Shapiro has another opinion regarding the whole war with the Islamic Republic situation. See if we agree or disagree.
Now, there's one kind of silly critique that I've heard here online. We need to stop being distracted by foreign wars. It's the foreign wars that are causing the food inflation. No, it isn't. The war in Iran has had basically no impact on food prices in the U.S. Now, as we'll get to, we can have arguments over the outcome of the war. Was it worth it and all the rest? But that has nothing to do with grocery prices. And this whole misdirect where it's like, here's the thing I don't like. Probably it was the war that did it. It's just nonsense. Right, here's the food inflation percentage increase, 2016 to 2026. And as you'll see, nope, not there. 2023, 2.7, 2024, 2.5, 2025, 3.1.
Wait, this is COVID, right? This big one is COVID.
2.5, 2025, 3.1, 2026, 3. Okay, that is not a gigantic bump based on the war in Iran. And by the way, if you actually would like for the prices to go up.
So one thing people don't understand is that inflation will always be there. It just goes up and down. So people are like, oh, why did food prices not come down? Food prices are never going to come down. The inflation is going to get lower. That means that rate of increase is going to get lower. It's the food price is not going to go down. The rate that so 3%. So for example, in 2022, when it's 10%, that means it's increasing by 10% in a year. In 20, like if you go look at the lowest, for example, okay, maybe in 2016 it did actually come down, but look at it like a low inflation in 2018 is 1.6. This is like low inflation. And this is like really low inflation numbers. That is still going up. Okay, that is still food prices still going up. It's just going up by such a smaller number. And right now in 2026, it's not that. I mean, it's not ideal. The ideal is like around 2%. So it's like 3%, but it's still not that bad. 3% is not that high. But people think like good inflation numbers means that prices are going down. If prices are going down, you're having a problem. Like you're probably dealing with a recession or something. Ideal is like 2% or 2.2.
Can I say something on this?
Yeah, go on.
This is largely affected by your local politicians, your local taxes, your local laws, your local regulations. Sometimes that gets lost in the conversation, but it's very important. And your local politician, if he has high taxes, he's gonna blame anything but himself.
True.
Based on the war in Iran. And by the way, if you actually would like for the prices to go up, probably what you should do is leave Iran in charge of the Strait of Hormuz so they can keep throttling up or throttling down our prices at whim based on oil shocks. Losing wars to failed dictatorships, seeking nuclear weapons, turns out it's not brilliant trade strategy. Now, there's one.
I mean, he's right about that, for sure. The last part. Except the nuclear
They could
part, which
basically
most people
insider
say
trade by bombing.
Yeah, true. Yeah, if you think like now it's a problem, now they have an effect on the market. Imagine if they have nuclear weapons, biological weapons, 30,000 ballistic missiles, and a more extended terrorist proxy network around, operations, and also if they control the Strait of Hormuz. So, yeah, if you think this is bad, imagine how bad it's going to be if you don't do anything against them. Right. And then, okay, let's go back to President Trump on Mohammed Sayed, the guy that just won the primaries in Senate or for Congress. I keep forgetting this. Let me actually just look it up myself. Mohammed Sayed. Okay. Wait. Okay, so hey, where is he? Where is the answer not? Okay, so Dr. Abdul El Sayed, an American progress politician, public health. Okay, Michigan. Okay, Michigan primary Senate seat. There we go. So let's see what President Trump has to say about this Muslim commie winning the primary for Michigan for Senate.
It's very important for the country that we win because you have people getting in office right now who will destroy this country. You're a person in Michigan that won the other night.
Abdul El Sayed.
He is a disaster for the country. Got a good line of stuff. I watched him. He speaks well, speaks okay. Seen better. But I'll tell you what, guys like that get in, they'll destroy this country. It's very important.
I mean, yeah, no lies over there.
Well,
he says he's a good. Yeah. What? Do you agree? Disagree?
You know what? I think he is gonna tank the left. Like, you know what? I think if he does get into power, like this is what gives us. This is another reason you should vote, because if you think, oh, this is a very blue district, a Republican can't win, or something like that, you got to think about it. Like they are splitting their own party, right? They are splitting their own party, and a lot of people aren't going to vote for that. So your vote really matters. because people like this are your best chance at winning in a place where we haven't won in a very long time. It is sad, but it is also a great motivation to just, repeating myself, get out there and vote.
You know, here, actually, now that we're talking about Muslims in Michigan, here's what Jesse Waters has to say about that.
Like they all came down with Michigan Muslim fever. Abdul. It reminds me when Nancy Pelosi wore the African clothes and knelt with the mask for Floyd. Same kind of energy. So the people running for president, you got Newsom, Mayor Pete, and Kamala, all running for president, all running scared because they don't want to be the next establishment hack that gets whacked by someone like Abdul. Abdul won running against these people. Abdul won because he's not these guys. But I respect Abdul. I like the fact that as a devout Muslim, he is accepting of Mayor Pete's lifestyle. I think that's a good thing. Kamala, who's rushing over there right now, he said her campaign was nauseating, blasted her about Hamas. Then Greasy waited until after the election was over to endorse. Now he's going in. And he's the kind of guy that everybody talks about that can't do anything. So if the establishment joins forces with the commies, it's a suicide pact. Because remember what happened with Obamacare, the blowback? He just tinkered with health care, and they got slaughtered up and down the ballot, lost so many states. These guys want to take over the entire healthcare system. Imagine what would happen then, or abolish ICE. What happens when Joe Biden abolished the border? Trump landslide. Now they want to abolish ICE. Same thing is going to happen. If you're sitting around with communists and you want to win the presidency, you don't sit next to these guys and say, I'll have what he's having. You order for the table. Like a real man, like a real leader, you call the shots. How does Trump act in primaries? They fly to Mar-a-Lago. They kiss his ring. He chooses who he wants. They shoot up in the polls, and then his guy's in there, and then he gets clout. What are they doing with Newsom and Kamala? They're flying to Michigan. What the hell is that about? Abdul should be going to California to meet with them. They'd have to hide Doug because he's Jewish, but that's what should be happening, and they're not doing that. And that tells you that they're so toxic and flaccid that they don't want to have anything to do with this guy. These people just running around in circles.
Harold, are you buying the Haley?
Monkey, before I want you to respond to that, but also, what do you think? Do you really think that, you know, these DSA people, these commies winning the primaries, are you sure they're not going to be able to win the midterms? Like, what if we're wrong? What if they actually do win the midterms? What if they actually, you know, succeed and they're now in Congress and the Senate? Is it a chance
whether
that
a regular Democrat or a DSA Democrat wins in a classically Democrat place? Okay, so they would be a Democrat with the mask off. Like, at the end of the day, a regular Democrat is also for open borders, is also against the war in Iran, is also against, lowering taxes on the working class. So the difference is slight, because what they want to do openly is get rid of the Supreme Court and the presidency and all this. Yeah, they can want that all they want. Are they going to get enough of a quorum and a vote on that to get it to pass? No. Like, the things that the DSA wants for that to pass in the Senate and the Congress, that's not going to happen yet. They would have to gain a whole lot more notoriety. I think what the numbers show is that in the places that they were basically that the Democrats were winning when the radical got elected, the chances went drastically down. That's just we saw a video about this with Asmongold.
Yeah. I just hope that I saw that video. That's what I'm hoping is true. I'm just worried that maybe from now till the midterms things change, because these people, I don't know, they have their ways in confusing the public. By the way, this was all in Michigan. we're talking about Michigan, this Abdul guy, and this is also in Michigan. Did you see this video? This is in
You're
Michigan.
making me so happy today
Why?
because you're like talking about American stuff, the election. I know it's related to Iran, like I know, but like this is something that I've always wanted for Iranians and people in diaspora and people all over the world to understand more how much it matters. I'm like, this is fantastic. Thank you for looking into all this.
Well, yeah, I think we're all connected, and also patriots need to know about the struggles of other patriots. We're building a global movement of patriots, right? We're all connected with each other, and we need to all support each other.
Absolutely.
And I think yeah, and I also think Iranian Americans are a huge asset for Americans against this Islamic invasion. And look at this Islamic invasion. This is in Dearborn, Michigan. And exactly the same place where that Abdul El Sayed guy just won the primary. And this is very Shia. You guys know that, guys, when you look at this, I hope that people who are on this channel can tell the difference between Sunni and Shia. And this is obviously like extremely Shia. This is like Hussein. But let me play this.
They don't copyright this, right?
They usually don't, but even if they do, it's just a simple music erase on the settings once they do. It's like easy. But it's not going to be a strike. It's just going to be a demonetization, which you could undo quite easily. But this is in the US, guy. Like if Iranians see this, they're gonna be shocked. They're like, what the hell? This is in the United States? How did this even happen? You see how they're hitting their own heads?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
So
I
this is
saw one that they have like a very specific rhythm that they hit like with their left hand, they hit their chest and both hands up, and then they hit both arms with their chest. Not the women though. It was the men. But they were doing a march like that too. I think it was in Michigan also, or Texas, one of those two.
You know, sometimes I show these videos like this on the Iranian side on my channel in Persian, and the people in Iran are shocked. Like, what the hell? How did the United States let this happen? Are you sure this is in the United States? Like, people from Iran say, like, this can't be the USA. Like, how did they allow this to happen?
The price of freedom is vigilance.
Right. This is like this is really concerning. Like, I don't know where we're gonna be in 20 years, but this is the reason why we need to become even more active. And this is why the SAVE Act is very important, right, Monkey?
This is absolutely true. Thank God, Pi Squared told me about this executive order. I wasn't very well aware of it. I mean, I haven't read it. I want to look into it. That gives me a little bit of hope. But even going forward, it still needs to get passed. It still needs to get passed after the midterms. We do need a tighter border. And we need to start arresting folks who give illegals work.
Oh, by the way, Fred, thank you so much for the 440 joules. I appreciate you. Thank you for the support. Monkey, can you, for the non-Americans here, can you, I know it's very hard, but can you give a 30-second understanding of why the SAVE Act is so important for the future of democracy, for the future of elections in the United States? Just like a 30-second summary.
Okay.
Because this is...
what the SAVE Act does, it makes it so that you must be not only have ID, but be a citizen and able to vote. Like, that's basically the short answer. The way it works now is it's not only are there places in the federal election where you don't have to show ID. The person who is doing the election gets in trouble if they dare ask for ID. Like, they go to, like, you know, have a fine, maybe go to jail. I don't know what the exact punishment is, but they're against ID. In some states, you could bring 5 people with you, and yeah, they're good. No, I know who they are. Yeah. Look, here's the papers, and you know, it's a big problem. because the people on the left do not care about cheating.
Okay. And so somebody in the chat was saying this was a weird cut going from the Hussein stuff, the Shia stuff, to President Trump. But I think it's relevant. The video before I showed you is relevant to this one because based on Monkey's explanation, here's President Trump talking about the SAVE Act.
And
So
one
this is
last
what
thing.
Monkey's- Okay.
I'm saying this because, like, especially people from Iran in the diaspora, they would know that these Muslims would be willing to lie to further their cause and gain a foothold here. Like their imams in Michigan and Texas are talking about this.
Right. Okay, so let's actually look at this. Oh, by the way, before I play this, this made me very happy, Amir. Thank you so much for saying that. Thank you so much for the encouragement. Amir the Cricket with the super chat saying, the idea to unite and help patriots everywhere is one of your most noble ones. Javid Armin. Thank you, Amir. That, you know what? I'm gonna screenshot this. That is such a wholesome thing. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. Hold on. Let me save this for myself. Put it in the picture phone. Okay. Thank you. All right. Okay. Let's play what President Trump is saying about the SAVE Act.
He's been pretty pointed on this, Thune. He says he doesn't see a pathway to 50, 51, doesn't have 60. Democrats are voting for it. What's the disconnect between you and Thune?
Well, we have.
So, yeah, so basically they're talking about passing the SAVE Act, and Thune apparently is the person that is blocking it. But yeah.
He's been pretty pointed on this, Thune. He says he doesn't see a pathway to 50, 51, doesn't have 60. Democrats are voting for it. What's the disconnect between you and Thune?
Well, we have no disconnect. I think we have a good relationship, but I view that as a very important thing. It's voter ID. If you just even take the ballots out of it, you know, the ballots are very important, but we do that another time. Voter ID, and it's proof of citizenship. And I figure you can't get any more basic than that. In other words, we want to see your citizenship. We want to make sure that you're a citizen to vote. We like photo ID just to make sure, because the elections are rigged in this country. The elections are a mess in this country. And that was proven in 2020, and it's been proven elsewhere. Look at the recent election that took place with the Spencer Pratt in Los Angeles. All of a sudden, I mean, they came from nowhere. It looked like he was in the runoff or easily in the runoff. The other one was, the third place was a woman nobody ever heard of. She's crying. Oh, I didn't make it. She didn't make it by a lot. All of a sudden, she surged. Unknown people don't surge. And she surged after the election was over. And she ended up getting in the runoff. He didn't. Look, we're like a third world country in many cases, in many states, third world country. So I think that, I think it's very important. Save America Act is a very important thing. John's trying. He's trying hard. I really believe that. But if he doesn't get there, it would be unfortunate.
He says, why don't you get the votes for it?
Well, I can probably do that, but I have a couple of people that I won't do so well with. You understand why, right? They're no longer in power. Well, as soon as they leave on January 20th.
Should he put it up for a vote either way?
Yeah, I would, because I'd like to see the people that want to vote against it. I want to see the people, both Republican and Democrat, who vote against, because mostly it's Democrats. I mean, we have most Republicans, in all fairness. We'll have a few. We'll be, like a couple short, or maybe one short. Which we shouldn't be any. What Republican is going to vote against it?
I could tell you there's a couple.
I know the ones. You don't have to tell me. I know the ones, and I find it hard to believe. But you have all the Democrats are going to vote against it. Every Democrat is going to vote against it.
They have 5 times, to be clear.
Well, they do it over and over, and I think it should pay a price during the election, for the election. Every single Democrat is opposed, but not only that, they're opposed to even the great big beautiful bill. I like the term better than the one. I like the great better than the one. But the great big beautiful bill is something that they all voted against, every single one of them. So they voted against, no tax on tips, and they voted against the Social Security, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, car loan deductions, all these things, these incredible things. They voted against everything. They vote against transgender all the time, the mutilization of your children. They vote against open border. They vote in favor of open borders. They vote totally in favor of open borders. These people it's the craziest thing. So I like having their hands go up voting against all of these things. But when you vote against, as an example, when you vote against the Save America Act, you're voting against fair voting. And when you think that they're voting against citizenship, I want to see a citizenship. These are things that nobody can understand when they're voting against photo ID. And, it was very interesting because in New York the other day, they were talking about the food store. And you see, they want to be licensed. They want you to be licensed in order to buy a loaf of bread. Maybe the same things also in New York. And these are people absolutely don't want anything having to do with elections. In other words, you can just walk in no matter who you are. But when it came to shoveling snow, did you see that? You had to get 2 forms of identification to get licensed to shovel snow. But to go in and vote, you don't need anything. No, it's no good.
What are the chances, Monkey, that this is actually going to get done, the SAVE Act? Like, are you optimistic? Are you not optimistic based on the numbers going forward?
With the executive order, it's more possible. Like I said, I haven't looked into the executive order that Pi Squared was talking about. This was a while ago, so like so many things have been happening lately that I wasn't able to check on it. But that's good. Another thing that I was noticing is that there was an open vote. So anyone who voted against it is now basically out in the open, that they can get primaried if they vote against it. And they could get primaried from the left too, right? So here's the thing. They want to do a 60 instead of 51 to be able to pass something, because they're asking for something called cloture, meaning whether to end or prevent a filibuster and move the bill forward. So it wasn't like a real vote. I don't know why they did that instead of just going for a full vote, but that's what they did. So they're probably trying to get people on record, and this is only the Senate. I don't know if they did that last night on what do you call that? The Congress. No, not the Congress, the House. Congress is them both together.
Okay. By the way, Monkey, thank you for all this information, because I don't know what I would do without you here knowing all of this stuff. So I appreciate that. This is, guys, again, if you're from Iran or Israel or anywhere else watching this, the future of the world depends on who has the power in the United States. So paying attention to the upcoming midterms and, just elections in general in the United States is very important if you want to figure out the future of the whole world, right? So this is why everybody, it doesn't matter if you're American or not, you have to pay attention to this. The politics of your country, one way or another, depends on who's in Congress in the United States, who's in Senate in the United States, and who's in the White House in the United States. So you can't afford to, if we're fighting this fight against the, Islamic, communist, woke left, woke right, evil, you can't do it effectively unless you know what's happening in the United States. But speaking of Israel, let me just play this while I go and be right back, because I want you to respond to this as well. Nick Fuentes talking about what the future plan of Israel is for the Middle East. I'll be right back.
We bomb their energy infrastructure. There's going to be 3 things that happen. We bomb their energy infrastructure, and the first thing that happens is all of their oil is now permanently and irreversibly not going into the market anymore. So you have now, for the foreseeable future, reduced the global supply of energy. That hurts us. If Iran is not able to refine and extract and export oil, then there's 5% less oil in the world. That hurts global supply. That raises prices for everybody in the long term, because now everybody's going to need to replace that supply, and they're going to be bidding for other oil that's on the market. So that's number 1. That's the first thing that happens. Number 2, Iran immediately retaliates, and they bomb Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar, and so do their proxies in Iraq and Yemen, and they lay waste to Saudi Aramco, to Qatar's LNG, to oil in the Emirates. And what this does is it compounds the effect of the first. Now the planet is out 20% of its oil. Iran is 5% of the world's oil supply. The remaining Gulf countries, that's the other 15%. So now the planet is down 20% of the oil supply. So prices are going to go high and they're going to remain high. And then the third thing that's going to happen is
this is all of this is why the correct plan would have been to vet, train, and arm the Iranian people to take southern Iran. So instead of like destroying the infrastructure and reduce the supply of oil in the markets, then the Iranian people would be operating the oil wells in southern Iran, and the supply will continue, and the Islamic Republic would lose access to it because all of southern Iran has been taken over. And this way you will bankrupt the Islamic Republic from its oil revenue, while at the same time not reducing the supply of oil into the world.
this destabilizes every country that gets hit. So if Iran can't sell oil and make money, then their society collapses, because that's a significant percentage of their government revenue. I think that's something like 20 to 30% of their government revenue comes from the sale of oil. So there's a blockade on their ports. Now they have no revenue at all from oil because their oil and gas fields and Karg Island has been destroyed. So now that destabilizes Iran. And this is really what the Israelis are after. That's the goal. The Iranian regime comes apart. There's civil unrest, and Iran basically becomes a failed state. Now there's no governance. How do you maintain control over 90 million people with no bridges, no highways, no money, no oil, no cops? You can't pay the cops money because you don't have money. You can't pay the military money because you don't have money. Now Iran is a failed state. And that's good news for Israel because that means the Islamic revolutionary regime is out of power. But it's bad news for everybody else, because what happens when a country of 90 million people fails? It turns into civil war and it starts to bleed.
It doesn't turn into civil war if you maintain the infrastructure and then let the Iranian people go gain control over the infrastructure. And even if you did destroy the infrastructure, it doesn't necessarily have to lead to civil war, because the Iranian people are not going to turn against each other. And there is no, I mean, like, for example, when you destroyed all the infrastructure in Germany under Nazi rule, the rebound from that, like they managed to recover and build their infrastructure really fast after that. So, and also there is a way to hit the infrastructure in a way that doesn't permanently damage the infrastructure, but makes it unusable, but also makes the repair of it really fast. There is also a way to hit the infrastructure that way that doesn't completely make the whole thing crumbling down, but it just temporarily puts it out of order.
Everywhere. There's a refugee crisis. The people spill over the border and they destabilize Pakistan and they destabilize Turkey and Iraq. And then the weapons start to spill over across the border. Then drones are finding their way into the hands of militant groups in other countries to raise money for internal conflict. And then
so again,
they already do that though, right?
Exactly. They already do that, and they do it very effectively. And if you cut their oil, the problem is the production. The production of drone and missiles will stop because there's no revenue. Even if some of it gets spread out, it will get spread out one last time, and then it will stop getting spreading out because nobody's producing them anymore, because they don't have the oil and gas revenue to pay for the components and pay for the production. And building them and spreading them takes a lot of money. So sure, yeah, once the whole thing comes down, maybe there will be one last spreading of drones and missiles, but it will be the last one. You will stop the continuation of the drones and missiles spreading in the region. So guys, this is why what he says sometimes sounds smart, but if you have just a little bit of an information about what's actually happening, you will realize that these are all lies.
Same thing happens in the Gulf. If the
sorry, go ahead.
There was a very important question in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to go to Pakistan?
I'll tell you who wants to go to Pakistan. A regime official of the Islamic Republic that doesn't want to get torn into pieces by the Iranian people after the regime falls. That guy wants to go to Pakistan.
Thank you for watching NAFO from Twitter. Yes, very few people, in other words. Very, very few select people,
Very
right?
few people. Yes.
Gulf's oil.
Oh, and Pezeshkian. Yes, Pezeshkian also wants to go to Pakistan and just plant trees for the rest of his life. True. True.
And then the same thing happens in the Gulf too. If the Gulf's oil industry is destroyed, okay, now how does the Saudi royal family maintain control? How do these other countries maintain control? Now these are failed states too. Bahrain maybe has a revolution. The Emirates is not going to have water. Nobody's going to go and do their FIFA matches and their WWE WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia. Where's the exotic banking going to go? If your airports are being hit, if your revenue dries up, that's it. That's curtains for the Gulf. And guess what? Israel benefits from this too, because Saudi Arabia has not normalized relations with Israel. Saudi Arabia is demanding that Israel create a pathway for statehood for Palestine before the Saudis make peace with Israel. So Israel would only be delighted to see everybody kill each other. Israel would love to see this. They would love to see Iran and Saudi Arabia.
That is absolutely a lie. Israel is trying to avoid, like, Israel wants to end conflict more than most other nation states. Israel does military operations to end conflicts, not to start conflicts. Chaos in the Middle East is not good for Israel. Failed states in the Middle East is not good for Israel, and they know it, because failed states are incubators for terrorist groups that will eventually come for Israel. Israel does not want to start conflict. Israel always wants to end conflicts. This is why in the entire history of Israel, Israel has never started a single war. Now, I challenge you, go look it up. Israel has not started a single war in its history. Every time Israel got involved in a war, it was in response to somebody else starting a war.
Well, do we count the Bible?
Oh, I was talking about the modern nation state of Israel. I don't know about
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Understand that part, Chad.
Yes, I was talking about the modern nation state of Israel.
They're kind of badass, like the Bible. They're still badasses, but back then, oh my God, they were like out there. Like, I'm a big fan.
Yes.
And a lot of these places, I know people think, oh, it's the Bible, but a lot of these places have some historical precedent in that they've been found by other nations stating this, and they find the places and the arrowheads. It's very interesting if you like history.
Amir is challenging me, saying 1967. 1967 is the Six-Day War, and people like Israel didn't start that. Israel got information that Egypt is about to do something. They got good information that something was about to happen, and they responded. And all the information shows that they were right about it. Yeah, correct. Okay, so yeah, I agree with you.
Knock each other out, blow each other to smithereens. Those are two fewer Islamist theocracies that Israel has to worry about. So they're looking forward to this. That's good for them. Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin say, let's just take out Iran and walk away. Well, that's what happens next. The region explodes. Every state in the Middle East.
The region is already exploding. The region is exploding because of the Islamic Republic, and it was exploding before any of this happened. The Islamic Republic was expanding to all of these countries even before any of this military operation started. And
Look,
it's already happening. Go on.
I'm sorry. What I was going to say, remember when I told you he takes advantage of our weakness of maps? He's taken advantage of us thinking everywhere is like Afghanistan and Iraq.
Right.
And Syria and Libya, like all these places are shitholes. Now, any American that was going to look into the places in Israel, go in Iran, go with the Google Maps and look at the streets, it's very different. And if you were to know the people, by what I've gathered, like, I can't say I've talked to thousands of Iranians in Iran, but like what I gather is that they're more sophisticated, more intelligent, like not inbred. You know what I'm talking about? Like maybe some of the Durkas, but you know what I'm talking about? Like it's a very different people, and he's taking advantage of a lot of people in America not knowing that this is not the same.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. True. True. All right, guys, I'm gonna leave it here. You guys don't forget to join our discussion group. It starts in about an hour and a half. We're there almost every single day. You could come talk to us almost every single day. I'll put the link in the chat. Oh, and also the link is also in the QR code at the top left corner of your screen. I don't know why it's green. It should be red. Yes, the QR code at the top left corner of your screen. The link is also in the description. So, and also it's in the bio section of Liberty Politics YouTube channel over here. And guys, thank you to everybody who's subscribing to us, liking the stream. Thank you to everybody who is hitting the bell notification. And also don't forget to subscribe to the Monkey. I'll put the link to Monkey's channel in the chat for you guys to subscribe to. Thank you for everybody.
Maybe we can get to 8:30. Yay! One more. Anybody wanna join?
One subscriber. Get him to 8:30. We're trying to get him to 1,000 soon. So help us out with that. Okay. So that's us. I'll see you guys in about an hour and a half on Liberty Politics discussion group. Or also on Liberty Politics, we'll stream it on the YouTube channel, on the same YouTube channel that many of you are watching us from. So if you're not in the group call, if you're not in the discussion group, you could just watch it live on Liberty Politics YouTube channel. So make sure you hit the bell notification so you don't miss that. That will happen in an hour and a half. I'll see you guys there. Oh, Monkey, I can only sub once. Yes, okay, yeah. So the people who have subbed already subbed. Thank you, guys. Go just like his videos, maybe.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. All right, guys, we'll see you soon. We'll see you in an hour and a half. And until then, I'm Israel Chai, Slava Ukrainian, Cuba Libre, Taiwan Jiao, Long Live America, Javicha, Payande,
Iran.
See you guys soon.